Welcome everyone to the Talk Tactically to Me United podcast. My name is Andy, and on the flip side of the screen is Ali. Manchester United 2, the Council Flat Scousers 1. Big statement win under Ruben. It wasn't a dominating or a pretty game on our end, but we got 3 points at Anfield. First time in 10 years. Pretty pumped about that. Ali and I have been working very hard during the international break that we got a surprise for everyone when we go into the tactical board to show you Manchester United's goals, plus run through some key stats. If you are new to the channel and like our content, smash a like on the video, comment below, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. How are you feeling, Ali, on this Monday after the Northwest Derby?
Mate, I am so gassed, man. Bro, 2-1. Anfield. I can't even remember what that feeling felt the last time we'd won there. It's normally just dread. But Ruben's team got it done. Massive credit. I thought they played such a great professional game. Second half, massive drop off, but that start, forget about the goal in possession, the interchanging of positions. And I think a lot of people, myself included, I was confused by the lineup. And it worked, man. I feel like I'm understanding more his importance for the second balls, retaining that, and then the switch of play. So when people are suggesting, oh, we don't know his play style, he has a couple play styles. He can be flexible in possession, but just winning and the manner of going down to it being on one almost felt like at Anfield, that atmosphere to win it. Maguire, big man ting. Oh, gas, man.
Big shot up in here. No, I totally agree. Remember, you and I were texting about the lineup. We were very puzzled about why he's playing Shaw, Delo. I understood Slaphead because you get your height advantage and everything like that. So I thought, what is he doing? These are the same guys that survive manager after manager, shows us what they do in a big game. But it's great to have the win. You know what was quite funny was that Liverpool going up to this game on social media. I don't know how I was getting all the Liverpool stuff into my feed. I don't know what algos are being tripping up here lately, but they were doing like, oh, last time we played Manchester United, we at home we beat the. They were showing up the 7-up game, 5-0. It always felt like Anfield going into Klopp's team, Slot's team. Now it's always been dreadful, and it was like I don't know what to expect because I thought you and I both agree that United are better than what the stats are, where their position is. I think we do, like you said, Ruben has a style. We see the philosophy, what he wants to play. And it just felt like we got a draw. That would have been a game changer. That we actually got 3 points, even better. And it's all for the bands. But dude, that game felt so long because we were up so early in the second minute and just kept a clean sheet till 76, 78th minute just felt so long, but that shows progress that the team is not fragile anymore to concede these goals, and they have building that mentality that they can go to these games and show up for it. So I felt like it was great. And just thinking about that too with the personnel, some of the clips too that they showed last time we felt at Anfield, Liverpool, they were showing Rashford, Garnacho trying to press on the ball, and they were so bad at it. Now it feels like because we have a new number 10s who put in a shift. Let's face this. Yes, all the rival fans can come out for Cunha for being 007, I think at this point, 008, whatever. But he's not scoring, but he's still how he progressed and carried the ball, how he did a lot of things off of it that's not sexy because it's not on the stat sheets. But man's a baller. And Buemo, baller. Now let's give him up for the pressing. He is Ruben's player, so he fits into the system perfectly, and we see it. So great. And last but not least, let's not forget halal ball cooked again. Halal ball, that right hand side. Oh yes, get out the garden bee gif. We're all cooking here. Let's go because that right side is very dangerous. And you know what? There was a rumor that Liverpool should have sold Salah and get Embuemo as the natural replacement. Thank God we pony up and got the money because you know what? That opening goal is a solid goal. coming behind the runners and then chipping it over the goalkeeper. Solid S. Now we finally have someone legit great going on Yanited and the recruiting, but overall good. Just gotta keep the men going because we face Brighton after this, and we don't want to drop off, and we want the guy to get his haircut.
Really good points. I think what I'm really enjoying about Cunha and Bumo is they have two different play styles, and they turned up to Anfield. Give me the ball. I don't care if it's Anfield. I don't care if it's Liverpool, right? They don't have any baggage from last season. And with Mbumo, he has this ability to play a pass, a cross, or a shot relatively early in if it's the build-up phase or the attacking phase. And Cunha on the other side, he's like, I'm gonna progress the ball, I'm gonna carry the ball, and that takes off pressure in a different way. So it's amazing. You got these two different cogs in this machine where that offer two different things. And it's great because it's like have range in your attack, right? I thought Cunha, stats are not going to say assists, goals, but the amount of times he took pressure off the defense, the midfield, carrying the ball. Anfield is a tough place to come and strut your stuff. And he didn't have any fear, right? So I just really enjoyed seeing that from Cunha. And Bumo obviously gets the goal, faded in the second half, but he was pressing. But I'm really enjoying seeing the different aspects they bring to the team. And then you throw in Mason Mount, he had an alright game. But in terms of pressing and being a presence, I really enjoyed seeing that from him. I was just really amazed to see players be like, I don't care if this is Anfield. In fact, I do care that it's Anfield, and I'm going to show the world I'm a Manchester United player. And you're talking about these two players that have that. And Yasko came on and was very tidy in possession, held the ball up. So you look at our signings and you're like, we see the progression. And look, Liverpool signings aren't having the best time of it at the moment. I still believe they have quality signings, but it's just amazing to go to Anfield with players that show up and offer something to the team. I loved watching that performance from an attacking sense, especially in the first half.
No, and I saw a tweet the other day about shout out to Ineos with their summer signings. It's pretty much like 100% hit rate at this point.
Yeah.
When we talked about different style as Cunha, don't have the stats, but look how he progresses and carries the ball. And then you have the South American shithousery of wasting time and things of that nature, getting fouled to kill time. Straight up, do what you got to do. You say what we have to say about Brian, but then you have to give it up for Lamens.
Yeah.
Coming out, and we finally have a proper goalkeeper. I feel safe with him in the net. He comes out, he commands the box. Everybody tries to do corner kicks off of us, thinking they're going to get the goal, but now we have a presence goalkeeper who is safe on his hands and everything like that. Are you Peter Schmeichel in disguise? It's too early to say, but it feels good. And that when we texted during the game, you mentioned this is like David De Gea.
He made that save with his foot. I was
right.
like, De Gea for me, when I first saw him making those saves with his feet, I was amazed. I'd not seen that before. Like, oh
Right.
yeah, Schmeichel star, he has that famous star shape. But that's that element of De Gea's game. I was like, wow, he's reminding me of him.
Right. And then I reply back to you about like he's better with his feet because balls are staying in place when he kicks it long instead of going out of play under De Gea, and then you have to start. And I know some of the stats for him, for Lamens, that his long kicks aren't accurate, but because we're winning off the second balls and because we're pressing the balls in that area, and we can turn over and create chances, the plan is working. And then I think you'll show later in the Bruno build-up was a direct kick to Casemiro and then started to play from the back. So any other last thoughts before we reveal our surprise?
Let's roll it on, man.
All right. So Ali and I have been working very hard, like I said, during the international break to make better content. So we actually have hooked up with Y Scout. All due because of, let's be real, this because of Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho, I saw him post a couple years ago, him scouting players, and it showed us the clips. So we spoke to White Scout. We have a partnership with them to come up with the clips for Manchester United. So now we can show you live clips from the game with drawings, highlights, etc. So we can show you instead of our old cheap tactical board and just trying to Ali there struggling trying to recreate the play. We got the clips right now, and I'm going to pass it off to Ali, diverting now to the tactical board visual style.
So this is the build up for the first goal. Throw in, and as you can see here, Mbumo is getting the second ball, and Ahmad is already on his way to make that movement into space as Ruben Amorim's attacking wingback. I've also highlighted Bruno and Casemiro, just as you can see clearly, Casemiro playing as that six, and Bruno further up in that eight. And this just goes into winning that second ball and then going back into that wing back system. And this is in the first minute against Anfield, and look how we're popping the ball around like they're Sunderland. There's nothing on here, so the ball gets retained back. And this goes back to what you were saying about Lamens and his kicking. So what I noticed was he was kicking a lot into space. And if you notice here, and Bumo's not going for that head, right? There's four players here I've highlighted, and we are setting up the trap for the second ball. And if you take a notice of Cunha, look how deep Cunha is. Cunha is in this position as a center midfielder. So we have that four-man box waiting for that second ball, so then we can launch our tactics from there, which is the switcher play. Bit of ping pong that's happening. And Van Dijk takes out his own player. Immediately, Ahmad is waving for the ball into space. He knows Bruno's got that quality to produce. And you can see Kirkez is kind of wandering here. Ahmad slows it down and then produces this great outside of the ball pass into that bit of space where Mbumo is wanting to run in behind. And Van Dijk, really lazy, just tries to play him off. Great strike, right foot, and booms. Halal ball cooking. You heard it here first. Roll back the tapes. You get me? 1-0 at Anfield. Great goal. So this is Liverpool's equalizer, and it's a bit of a messy equalizer. Ekatike, who, was good when he came on, just causing a load of chaos in the box. But I just want you to keep an eye on De Ligt. All right, so he's in a decent position now, and then when we roll the clip, you're gonna see that he jumps, right? He's trying to play offside, and you can see Gakpo's clearly onside, and Mo Salah is offside. The ball gets played out wide, and Gakpo finds his space in between the two centre backs. And it's actually Dorgu who plays him onside, but I'm just kind of questioning De Ligt and just he didn't need to jump, but it's okay, like, make mistakes. He had a really good game, but didn't really need to jump at that point. And I think the pressure was quite immense at that point. But yeah, that was their equalizer. This is the corner, and listen, this technique, Bruno Fernandes, what? This is incredible. So many people have been talking about this. An instep from a volley instep, first time with this trajectory into that space. The technique is incredible. And this just shows like Bruno's qualities in these areas. I know we're using him as an eight, but in that final third, I think there aren't many players that can produce these kind of moments. And it's just wonderful to see him get an assist in a game that he was, he was okay in. He did things well. It wasn't his best game, but that just shows you how important it is to have Mbuma and Cunha and other players step up in an attacking sense. But on the other side, this is what Bruno can give you. Quality technique, quality balls in, Harry Maguire, 2-1, United. You're done now.
Get
Stretching opposition with the wing backs. But in terms of breaking down a team, and we're gonna come across this when we play Forest, right? They're gonna sit back. Sean Dyche is probably gonna be there. Gonna sit back. How effective is this system away from home? 60 minutes in, 70 minutes in. How effective is it then? I still think there's questions on what we do then. And I'm hoping the players have an answer. My only kind of question on the players was that drop off? And it is Anfield. You're gonna have that drop off. So they didn't drop off completely whether they got overrun. It was just one goal. I remember I texted you. I was like, we need another goal to get something from this game because I knew they were going to score, right? They were
right.
definitely going to score. And
How many times they hit the post? 4 times?
yeah, they were unlucky. I think we definitely rode our luck. But that first half I was just so shocked how well we played in an attacking sense, in terms of our players just being, we can handle this at Anfield. I haven't seen that in a decade, right? Which is just incredible to see. And I think, dude, that's a massive game because
It just shows the
that,
mentality. Is if we drop
well,
off or not.
yeah, because it's going to undo, if we don't get 3 points, it's going to undo everything that we've done at Anfield. This is the moment whether Amarim's project is gonna take off or it's gonna just be stagnant. Because you do have Forest away. That's more of a gettable 3 points. But that game against Brighton, that's gonna be a tough game, right? On paper, that's just a tough game. I was there last season when we got pumped 4-0. I think it was 4-0. I was at Old Trafford. It was the worst I've seen them play. Brighton know how to play. They know their system. I do like the fact that it's Old Trafford. It's at Old
Right.
Trafford. The importance of building on this can't be understated. This is his moment. I'm talking about Chelsea, right? We were man up.
Right.
I wasn't wowed by the performance. This was like you got pegged back to 1-1. This is your mentality. Now you have to build from this. If you don't build from
Right.
this,
Right.
it's two steps back. And this is the most important moment of his career, of his Manchester United career.
He got his big statement win. Now it's just trying to continue the momentum because
Yeah.
we played one. Now we have 3 games left before the November international break. Brighton home, Forest and Spurs away. So you would think that you should win Brighton. We don't do well on managerial bounces because since Sam Dash is coming into Forest. We don't do well on when we face opposition's teams on with a new manager. We don't do well on that. And then Spurs, it's a 50-50 mentality they have. But if they win the next two and you draw, you essentially gone undefeated. This window between the October November international break, and then you carried over from one. So then that would be so that'll be 5 games unbeaten.
I don't even mind. Like, listen, I don't care if we draw a Forest. We need to win three. If you can win three, that's like something
Right.
to build on. Fine, draw at Forest, that's fine. But it sounds kind of weird, but a draw against Brighton at home and then winning at Forest,
It's not the right mentality. I get what
amazing.
you're saying, but at the end of the day, when we come down to points totals, it's the same amount. It's still going to be 4.
For me, it's just about momentum, right?
Right. So that was our presentation with Huddle and Y Scout in terms of giving you the clips. Now we're just going to go pivot now to the stats. Yes, we use Opta, but now Y Scout has given us a full blown package of where we can get match reports. And this is just a good show in terms of what Ali has showed with us with regards to the clips, what is the stats are saying, and to mimic and to match what we are talking about, right? So as you can see, 2-1 on the Y Scout report has all the players all fancy. But here's where I wanted to start off first with regards to player position and formation. So you know what was funny coming into this match, Ollie? With all the issues that Liverpool has, Slot is ignorant as well, and he doesn't change his formation. He sticks to 4-3-1, just replaces personnel, but sticks to the formation. And I thought that was kind of shocking because of all the issues that they have, that at least he would be like changing it up, whether it be going to like 4-3-3, 4-4-1, something like that to get something cooking or so. No, he stays into it, and you can see it here. We've stayed in the same position as well because you know what worked. So when we were talking about in terms of the build up and in the play, we were talking about they were playing between a 5-4-1 for United when Liverpool had the ball, or a 4-4-2. From the positioning of it, it looked like we were playing a 4-1-4 because as you can see from the positioning, we had Shaw, Dalot, Maguire, Delit in the back. You pretty much had Casemiro hanging out here in the front of the mid of the defenders. We again, stats are showing again that yes, Bruno's playing as an 8, supposed to be alongside Casemiro as a 6 on paper, but in the position of play, he's still in the attacking half. He comes ahead with the attacking players, and you can see you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's why I think it's interesting, and it just shows to again, it's like paper wise, he's there, but position wise, and when it comes down to stats, he's in the attacking half. Any thoughts with regards to that, Ali?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I think from a creativity point of view, definitely want to see him more involved there, right? When we get turnovers and when we get countered, when there's cutbacks, that's his vulnerability. I think a lot of fans are accepting that's the good and the bad you're gonna get with Bruno. That's what you're gonna get. And I honestly, I think it balances it out. Maybe I'm just saying that because he assisted the goal. And maybe I'm being a bit reactionary because quite a few of the goals we conceded have been him slacking and he's cost us some points. But that's just what you get with Bruno, and I think people are coming to terms with it. You can agree or disagree.
And like you said, this is the system of trying to accommodate Bruno. We gotta live and die by the sword. But so far, this positioning has helped us in the past couple of games.
Would you think if you put Ugarte in there, do you think that system changes in for Bruno? You play two, or you put Mainu in there, does that change?
You see, that's the thing though, because then when we have Ugarte in there, it feels like we're playing like the Crystal Palace way of having your 6 and your 8s together. And that's what we've seen in preseason when those two have played, and the games that they get substituted, they're more compact with each other, right? That I don't think Kobe has the technical ability yet to do what Bruno does. And that's where it's just trying to figure out when it comes down to recruitment, whether it's true or not that, well, Lori from The Athletic said that at the same meeting where he told Garnacho, Ruben told Garnacho that you have to go, he told Ugarte, you're not the same player as Sporting, that you should leave. So I don't know what kind of love lost is there, right? We already know that Ruben likes Casemiro for the experience and the leadership. So if you can re-sign him and get him on a lower wage, that's great. I don't know.
No,
Like
I would
I
like that on a much
lower
wage.
rate.
That's not gonna. I think he's going Saudi.
I think
He's
he's
got to
going to
go
Saudi.
somewhere else.
So,
World Cup year is finished.
right. And he's on the what, 34th at a times.
He's
So this is where it
he's
comes
your
down to
captain.
so that's where it comes down to recruitment in terms of is Carlos that player that can sit back and distribute, because we are trying to figure out Ruben wants a system of having that prime Matic, Conte, who can thread balls through the lines, being direct from the back and spreading it out. So just trying to find that player, because from the positioning, that's what he wants to do. But we don't have the Casemiro could have done it years ago. We had prime Casemiro. but not anymore, and not in the Premier League. So this is where it's like we see the formation, we see what he wants to do. He's just getting that player. And yeah, like I said, to your point, Ugarte and then Kobe, they're going to play the same line. And then it's the same thing if you instead of Carlos, what happens if it's Adam Wharton or Elliot Anderson? Are they going to be playing that six deep six role, or they too are going to need help? Where then if you sell Bruno to the Saudis or whoever, do you get a true number eight like him, or you get another number six or a hybrid like a Kobe? Somebody like Kobe putting in there, somebody who's like the deep line playmaker, like what Pogba used to do. So that's where it's like we see the formation, we see what he wants. It's just again putting a square in the square hole to the circle, triangle, the triangle to make it work. So, any other thoughts with regards to that?
Yeah.
So, XG dynamics, we've been talking about this. I've seen now people flip the script on XG. When United leads XG, it's like, oh, it doesn't matter. Now, when Liverpool does it, it matters the most that this is like, all right, calm down, people. We've had them to the 25th and then they took over. That just shows the mentality and the defense. But the thing I wanted to show with regards to the press intensity, we know that Liverpool presses since Klopp has come in. Slot has done a little revamp with that, so you're not surprised to see the pressing here. But what's surprised with United is that the numbers are not as high. Well, total it averages out that it's like one press intensity off of Liverpool, right? Because they pressed a lot more in the first half and in the second half. And then Liverpool pressed a lot when we had the ball and tried to disrupt our play. And then when they completely went into possession, they didn't really have to press us off the ball. But I just wanted to bring the pressing intensity up because when Ruben's job was questionable and they were looking at Areola from Bournemouth, this is one thing because he always presses in. Bournemouth is at top of the league or top five in the pressing intensity. This just shows that what you have Mount, Cunha, and Embuemo there with Ahmad, you can press and you can create chances and be consistent because we've seen it in the play. They're pretty much pressing when the opposition comes out of the box. But once it passes top of the box halfway line and it goes from the halfway line to their top of their box, the opposition's box, they hold off and then they consolidate into the back five, the 4-1, or the 4-4-2. So you can see it there with regards to the pressing of where they're pressing and how they're pressing at the top and then consolidating to the back. Any thoughts with regards to that?
Yeah, no. I thought in the first half, this is more about formation,
Mm-hmm.
but there were a couple instances when I didn't feel like the players knew how to press in what specific shape. Because they would go from a 4-4-2 press and leave this enormous space in the middle of the pitch. I remember I texted you because
Right.
Gravenberg he just
Walk
like
through.
jogged through the middle and then he feeds Gakpo and Gakpo hits the post, right? So I was a bit concerned about that, but then the 3-5-2 press, I was a bit like, oh, okay, that seems like they're going more into their shell. But I think the players they're not exactly knowing when to do it. And that's fine. It's just more time on the training pitch. But I think as well, you're changing the personnel. And it's like I specifically look at Sesko. He's always looking behind his shoulder. He's trying to figure it out himself, and he's a new player, so that's a good indicator to
So
tell
I
you like
think
how they're doing that.
so I think that the only two people who are committed to the press is Mount and Mbumo. Those are the two consistent ones on the press. That's why they get when you do the 4-4-2, they're the two that press the most. Ahmad presses when the ball's within his area, or he always presses on the man when it's pretty much defending his man. He'll press then, but then backs off, right? And then Cunha presses when the second ball, when the ball comes down, and then he'll try to press. But I haven't seen him really commit to a press when the ball's coming out.
But that's not like whether you're committed to the press or not. Like that's an attribute you have, but you all need to press together.
Right.
And I almost think Mbuma and Mount are going to go press. If they feel like their teammates aren't going to press, they shouldn't press because that's just going to leave holes in your team. So if that's something that needs to get solved, right? And I think that's one of his biggest jobs to really coach. And it's weird because I'm seeing two different types of presses, and when it works, it's great, right? But there's just such a disparity in the two. When it doesn't, it's just like I was so shocked to see Gravenberch just go to the middle of the pitch uncontested.
Right.
Oh, it's just, and that's just, you got to give a manager time. I don't know if it's personnel, but there are other coaches out there that have been able to coach lesser quality players into pressing and into being in specific shape.
In my
So
personal opinion, I think it's personnel.
my argument is there are other coaches out there that have been able to do it with players that are not of that same ilk.
So now when we say that, are we talking top six? Because I feel like when you're a bottom team, like a Bournemouth, for example, right? It's like these players are just auditioning to go to the next step, that they can commit to the press or can do the extra work, that they can go up. Because like you can make the same argument about Brian. He committed to the press, he does all the right tricks and things of that nature at Brentford, and he got rewarded by going to United. So it's like I understand your argument in terms of that. So because I think our favorite Harambal manager, right? I feel like he had to go through personnel changes for him to institute his press at Arsenal. I don't feel like he had to coach it because he's always been a press coach, just didn't have the players to do the press properly. Now through recruitment to where they are now, he has players who've committed to the press. And I feel like that's recruitment process. And for us, we haven't done a full squad clean out for Ruben to do his press. We have players that can do the press, have the ability to press, but they're not there just yet, or whatever it may be, coach or stuff to do it. Because, like example, Cunha, right? A lot of questions from tactical things he doesn't press. He's as lazy or walks, quote unquote, walk as Rashford, right? That was the main comparison of, oh, why are you dropping Rashford for Cunha when they do the same thing off the ball? And yes, he doesn't commit to the press like Mount does, but then again, his work rate on the second balls and occupying that space or just trying to get that ball back and then does the outlet swings onto the wings, like what we've seen in Liverpool and in past games. That's something Rashford couldn't do because he wasn't committed to the press at all. And Ten Hag tried to everyone press but him. And Ruben didn't even give him a chance. But that's what I'm trying to say. But he's mix of, I think it's personnel, and he doesn't have all the right players to commit to the press, but he has some players in certain spots, and that's where we see pressing in certain areas, mostly between
Right.
Mount and Bumo, Ahmad, and stuff. Bruno does press, but he's so bad at it. It's like 50 chance or 30-70 chance that he's going to miss it. But at least he presses, but he's not good at it when the ball gets into that midfield role going to
Which
the top of the box.
which is probably
Opposition.
where the disjoint is happening because
Right,
you've
which
got
is a
Mount
disjoint.
and Mbumo as the number 10s who are good at pressing. It's that middle part of that pitch
Correct.
where it's just not happening. I
Correct.
I think
And
Cunha is fine. I think he's fine
right,
at it.
I feel like he fits
Yeah.
perfectly in terms of what Ruben wants. I don't need to have, I prefer four men to press, right? And I prefer that to be the Mounts, the Mbumos, or your Sescos, whoever, and your wingers. So Ahmed knows how to press. I don't know who Dorgu can press to a degree, but he's not that sufficient.
Defensively,
Right.
yeah.
So that's where it's like you get the front four to press, and if you have the solidified midfield, what we've talked about, Casimir's on last legs, your Ugarte is not the same player he had. We don't know where Kobe can fit at this point on this team in this system. I feel like that's where the disconnect is, and that's where it's all very disjointed, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Then just wanted to show here Halal Ball member Ahmad with 100% passing. It just shows the quality of him, and it sucks that he got the yellow card and had to be taken off because you don't want to go down 10 men at Anfield. All this is just like the positioning and players and stuff. We could go down to it in other matches, but I feel like it's just redundant at this point. But I wanted to just bring up this aerial duels, right? Because we saw here with regards to aerial duels for Liverpool, they had a 39%. United had 43%. And I felt like that's where we won the game, especially when we had the ball in a possession, winning those second balls, creating those turnovers in the first half. And of course, slap head coming over the top. Thoughts?
No, I think we're a big physical team with those three centre backs and with Sesko. Yeah, pieces are just becoming a big thing now. So I think winning your aerial duels is quite important. I thought Oro came on and he played really well with his heading ability. So I'm glad he came on and he put a good shift in. Shaw did all right. Shaw was like decent today. A couple of moments where he came out of the ball and I saw the old Luke Shaw in terms of in possession and he's at one point under Ten Hag, I was so amazed by Luke Shaw in terms of being able to progress the ball. So he showed a couple of those glimpses today, but defensively, Yoro, he was really good. It's nice for him to show that he's got that ability because I think in those moments, we're so weak with set pieces and all these things. It's good that you have another option on the bench or even if he's starting to have that, right? And I do hope we see Maguire, De Ligt, and Euro more often in those end game situations because I think they can close games out with their aerial presence. Even put in Aiden Heaven in there, he's another decent body in there. I don't know what he's like in the air, but nice to see Euro some minutes. Again, I think most of us are quite shocked he didn't start, but Shaw
Yeah,
did all right.
he ended stripes there, all the 7-ups and 5-Os and stuff like that. But you know what? Martinez is coming back. Hopefully he'll be back after the November international break to bring a leg into that defense and hopefully shore it up.
I think it depends on the game situation. Martinez is someone you would start, right?
Right,
And I do worry if I don't know. You could bring Maguire in, close the game out, or if you need a goal. But I would like to see Euro start more often
right,
than not because I thought De Ligt played well. There was a thing in the commentary people said De Ligt was coming in to Ruben and saying, "Oh, I'm having to mark two people." And that was when I texted you. I was like, if Mbumo doesn't come and cover, De Ligt gets exposed as a right centre back. He doesn't really have that pace to come across.
right.
Whereas I don't really have that same worry with Euro. But Ahmad did quite well defensively as well. So
To
yeah,
him. We
yeah.
know he can attack. We know he can do it going forward. It's just defensive halves, and he's been solid. He earned his stripes. He's undroppable at right wing back, I think, at this point.
So what I think was really important for Ahmad today was he got his assist, but defensively he didn't let the team down. Which now, when you go, Anfield is the biggest, toughest game to play. So if he can handle it defensively there, he should be playing right wing back against any top team, right? Ruben didn't play him against Arsenal in that right wing back position because I'm assuming it's because he was worried about Arsenal being a big team and all this. But if you can play Ahmad in that situation, he is undroppable. That right wing back slot should be his. And I think it's just in-game situations. If he's fading a little bit, you could put Dallo in there. I think it's a long season. So I think that's his position for sure.
Or can you bring back on the other honorary member of Halal Nasrawi,
I just think he's better as a
right
right
center
centre
back?
back or a left centre back. But he can do a jobber. Right? He's got decent delivery, but he's just they're both very technical players. I think Mazraoui, man, he's so magical when he's dribbling. Kind of in disbelief. You're like, wow, this guy is techie, so technical. Be nice to see. And again, you can bring him on in certain situations. Defensively very solid. I think he's actually got very good vision as well in terms of spotting a pass. So it'll be good to have him back
Yeah.
starting coming in as a sub.
So, any other final thoughts for Liverpool?
And Anfield, man. Anfield was light work.
Whoa, light work, really, bro?
Light work, man.
Went up, longest game of my life. Like, where are we going? Let's
Uh,
go.
what's crazy was when it was 1-1, and I'm like, they're gonna win 2-1. And then when we went 2-1 up, I'm still got that fear. I'm like, oh my God, is it gonna be 2-2? I was just thinking, Ruben, is he gonna catch a break or not? Because I felt like, even though they weren't really pushing that well for that second goal, but I just felt like we're just so fragile. I was like, is it gonna happen to Ruben? But
And it didn't happen. He got 3 points. Scousers are crying.
yeah,
You know,
losses in
fire
a row.
4 losses in a row.
Hold that. Hold that.
Hold that L. And guess what? Only 6 points back. First,
Listen,
we
we
have a
win.
week.
If we win against Brighton, I will be on that energy. I will be on that energy.
Yes.
If we win against Brighton, three in a row, but I'm so okay. No, I'm not gonna say that. But like Brentford, I think that's just I know it's such a humbling defeat, and we just need to. I think maybe every episode we just need to remind us. We just need to remind ourselves of what this team is. It can happen, right?
Right.
If you drop your levels, that's what can happen. And we can't play like that. And if you have resilience against Anfield, it's like the other end of the spectrum. This is what
Right.
can happen. So what do you want, Brighton, man? That's
And remember my rule. If we hit 5 losses or more, we don't win the league. We're at 3. Just saying. But no, but in all seriousness, Ali and I, we like to talk crap about this. And because it's a good win, 3 points in the bag. Let's be in reality of where we are. We've had defensive mishaps, penalty kick misses. We could be 2, 3, 4, even 6 points better than we are today. But this is where we are. The table is looking nice and clean. Remember, Lori has reported. Now Ruben has came out and said Europe is the goal. What Europe may be, it's worth wait and see. But we're what 2 points away from top 4 for Europe for Champions League. So you never know. And we're gonna come into the sweet spot of the season after November international break. But hey, Ali, it was a pleasure breaking it down with Y Scout on our clips for Man United's win against Liverpool. 2-1.
yeah, 2-1, man.
All right, everyone. Again, subscribe, drop us a comment wherever you listen to us. And we'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.